Hello everyone, in this video we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. Now we have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now let's start. Which famous personality delivered the Darbari Seat Memorial Lecture organized by global think tank TERI? So it was delivered by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He is from Portugal. The capital of Portugal is Lisbon. Now this event was organized by TERI. What is TERI? It is the Energy and Resource Institute. So he is Secretary General of United Nations. Now recently United Nations was also in news as Indramani Pandey was appointed as India's next permanent representative to United Nations and to other international organizations in Geneva. It is important to note that recently India was elected as non-permanent member of UNSC, that is United Nations Security Council. Total there are 15 members, out of which 5 are permanent and 10 are elected as non-permanent members. Recently, United Nations was also in news as Volkan Bozkir has been elected as the president of 75th session of UNGA. What is UNGA? It is United Nations General Assembly. Volkan Bozkir is from Turkey and he is first Turkish to become the president of United Nations General Assembly. Now Turkey was also in news because of Hagia Sophia. So it was a museum and recently it was converted into a mosque. Next question is, which country is to set up a honorary statue of Indian doctor Dwarkanath Kotnis? Right answer is China. So the doctor is commemorated for his contribution during the Chinese Revolution, and Chinese Revolution was headed by Mao Zedong. Now recently China was in news because of 9-dash line. China was also in news as USA imposed sanctions on 24 Chinese companies for their involvement in SCS, that is South China Sea. Now this 9-dash line is also associated to South China Sea. China was also in news as Central Bank of China got stakes in ICICI. Next question is, in which month the Poshan Ma is organized by Ministry of Women and Child Development? So it is organized in the September month, and the month of September is organized as Poshan month. What is Poshan? It is PM's overarching scheme for holistic nourishment. So it is related to nutrition, and this initiative was launched in 2018 from Jhunjhunu in Rajasthan. Now for this initiative, WCD, that is Ministry of Women and Child Development, is the nodal agency. Few months ago, Niti Aayog released a report on the performance of states in the implementation of this Poshan Abhiyan. And as per this report, Andhra Pradesh is the top performer in the implementation of, that means overall implementation of Poshan Abhiyan. Next question is, ease of doing business report, which was in news recently, is released by which organization? So it is released by World Bank. Recently it was in news because of a controversy. What was the controversy? That there were issues of data manipulation, and that is why World Bank announced that it has paused the publication of this report because of the concerns of data manipulation. Now if we talk about World Bank, recently World Bank was in news as P.K. Goldberg, who was the chief economist of World Bank, resigned recently, and new chief economist is Cameron Renard. David Malpass is the chief of World Bank. World Bank was also in news because of its STARS program. Answer in comment box, what is the objective of this STARS program? Next question is, which month of this year has recorded the highest rainfall since 1976? So it is the month of August, and it was informed by IMD. What is IMD? It is India Meteorological Department. It is under MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences. IMD is headed by Director General, and present Director General is Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra. Present MOES Minister is Dr. Harshvardhan. Recently he was in news as he became the chairperson of WHO Executive Board. WHO is World Health Organization. Now recently IMD was also in news as it integrated its services in the Umang app. So Umang app is a unified app to provide all the government services at one place. Next is Rani Lakshmi Central Agricultural University, which was in news recently, is located in which Indian state? And it is located in Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh. Now recently Uttar Pradesh was in news as it collaborated with Flipkart for One District, One Product program. Now answer in comment box what is this one district, one product program. Uttar Pradesh was also in news as recently it partnered with Israel for the water crisis in Bundelkhand. That means both countries will work together to resolve this water crisis in Bundelkhand region. Israel was also in news because of Operation Breathing Space. Israel was also in news because of Abraham Accord. So this is historic agreement between Israel and UAE. UAE is the host of this year's IPL tournament. UAE was also in news because of Hope Probe. UAE was also in news because it became the first country in Arab world to have a nuclear power plant. Now this Hope Probe was the mission on Mars, and this was launched with the help of Japan. That means UAE launched it with the help of Japan. Recently Japan was in news because of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So Prime Minister Shinzo Abe resigned due to health concerns, and he was known for his economic policies, and in this context there is a term Abenomics. So Abenomics is related to the policies started by Shinzo Abe. That means economic reforms started by Shinzo Abe. Next question is, which armed force detected a 20-meter long tunnel along Indo-Pakistan border? So since BSF provides security to Indo-Pakistan border, so obviously right answer is BSF. Now if we talk about different security forces, Assam Rifle provides security to Indo-Myanmar border. BSF provides security to Indo-Pakistan and Indo-Bangladesh border. On the other hand, ITBP, that is Indo-Tibetan Border Police, provides security to Indo-China border, and SSB, that is Sashastra Seema Bal, provides security to Indo-Nepal and Indo-Bhutan border. And these are part of CAPF, that is Central Armed Police Forces, and CAPF reports to MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. Please note down that they do not report to MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. They report to Ministry of Home Affairs. Next question is, in which Indian state or union territory 3 mega bamboo cluster are proposed? So this is the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and these institutions would be set up by CBTC. What is CBTC? It is Cane and Bamboo Technology Center, and this technology center is under DONER. What is DONER? It is Ministry of Development of Northeast Region, and as of now it is under Dr. Jitendra Singh. Now coming back to Jammu and Kashmir, the Union Territory was also in news as it launched e-auction portal to promote the trade of Kashmir saffron. Jammu and Kashmir was also in news as recently Mr. Manoj Sinha was appointed as new LG of Jammu and Kashmir. Previous LG was Mr. G.C. Murmu. Now he has been appointed as new CAG. What is CAG? CAG is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. CAG is a constitutional post, and Mr. Murmu is going to replace Mr. Rajiv Mahesi. Next question is, a defense policy dialogue was conducted virtually by India with which country? So it was organized by India and Singapore, and from Indian side the meeting was chaired by Dr. Ajay Kumar. Dr. Ajay Kumar is our defense secretary. Now if we talk about Singapore, it was also in news because of Economic Freedom Index, and as per this index, Singapore is the top performing country, and Singapore is followed by Hong Kong, New Zealand, Australia, Switzerland. Singapore was also in news as recently it topped Global Food Security Index. This is important index as it is related to food security, and this index was released by EIU, that is Economist Intelligence Unit, and as per this index, Singapore is on top position while India is on 72nd position. Next question is, which telescope detected the immense envelope of gas called halo which surrounds the Andromeda galaxy? So this was detected by HST, that is Hubble Space Telescope, and this Hubble Space Telescope is related to NASA. What is NASA? It is the space agency of USA, and NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So the name of galaxy is Andromeda Galaxy. It was detected by Hubble Space Telescope. It detected a halo. Now NASA was also in news because of Sunrise mission. NASA was also in news because of Europa Clipper. So this will conduct the survey of Europa. Europa is the moon of Jupiter. NASA was also in news because of its Mars rover, and the name of rover is Perseverance. Next question is, as per the global ranking of average wages prepared by Peabody.com, what is the average monthly wage of India? So it is 32,800. That is approximately $4,000. $37. Now, this Peabody.com is an international e-commerce platform, and it released a global ranking of nations based on their average wages. And as per this ranking, India is on 72nd position, and this index has been topped by Switzerland. Now, recently Switzerland was in news because Monica Mohta was appointed as India's next ambassador to Switzerland. In addition to Monica Mohta, recently Vidhu Nair was appointed as India's next ambassador to Turkmenistan, and Vikram Doraiswamy was appointed as India's ambassador to Bangladesh. Now, answer in comment box. Recently Rudrendra Tandon was appointed as India's ambassador to which country? Next question is, who has been recommended to the post of Chairman of SBI by BBB, that is Bank Board Bureau? Right answer is Dinesh Kumar Khara. So he has been recommended by Bank Board Bureau. Now, in addition to him, recently Ashwani Bhatia was appointed as the MD of SBI. Please note that Dinesh Kumar Khara is going to be the chairperson of SBI and Ashwani Bhatia is the MD of SBI. On the other hand, recently Ashwani Kumar Tiwari was appointed as new MD and CEO of SBI Cards and Payment Services. In addition to him, recently Vinay Tonse was appointed as MD and CEO of SBI Mutual Fund. And recently Prakash Chandra, that is PC Khandpal, was appointed as new MD of SBI General Insurance. Next question is, which institution announced the sovereign gold bond scheme? So it is related to RBI, that is our central bank, and RBI issued these sovereign gold bond on the behalf of Government of India. And these bonds are denominated in the units of gold. Now, RBI was also in news because of its currency swap agreement with Sri Lanka. Recently, Sri Lanka was in news because of its parliamentary elections, and Mahinda Rajapaksa became the new Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. His brother Gotabaya Rajapaksa is the President of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was also in news as the country is going to frame its new constitution. Now, coming back to RBI, RBI was also in news because of PIDF. RBI was also in news because of National Strategy for Financial Inclusion. So these were the most important questions of today's video. Now we are going to cover important news. Feel free to skip it if you do not like the format. So first news is related to Dr. S. Padmavati Shivram Krishan Iyer. So she passed away recently, and she was India's first female cardiologist, and she was oldest cardiologist. She passed away recently. Next is FIDE Chess Olympiad. So recently India and Russia were declared joint winners of this 2020 online FIDE Chess Olympiad. Next is 6th International Military Technical Forum. So this forum was organized recently in Russia in Moscow, and Russia was also in news because of its COVID-19 vaccine. Next news is related to our former president Pranab Da. So he passed away recently, and he was the president of India from 2012 to 2017, and he was awarded Bharat Ratna in 2009. Next is Sterlite Copper Plant at Thothukudi. So this plant is in Tamil Nadu. We had already discussed this issue, that how this plant, the Sterlite Copper Plant, was in news because of the pollution issues. Then how the Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board ordered the closure of this plant. Then the owners of this plant approached Madras High Court. The court refused to allow the reopening of this plant. Now they have approached the Supreme Court. It is important to note that this plant is related to Vedanta Limited. Next is Agriota. So this is e-market agricultural commodity platform, which has been launched by UAE government. Why it has been launched? To bridge the gap between Indian rural farmers and UAE food industry. Next is Channapatna Toy. So these are the wooden toys which are manufactured in the Channapatna in Ramnagar district of Karnataka. Next is Pantanal. So this is world's largest wetland, and it is in Brazil, and it also extends into Bolivia and Paraguay. For wetland conservation, we have Ramsar Convention, and Ramsar is a site in Iran. Recently, Iran was in news because of Noor, JCPOA, Instex, Toman, Chahbar. Next is BIPOC. So this term became popular during this Black Lives Matter movement. So what is the full form of this term? It is Black, Indigenous and People of Color. So a question can be like, this term is related to which field. Next is, and last news is Kavkaz 2020. So this is a multinational military exercise which is organized by Russia. Now India has decided to withdraw its participation from this exercise. So that was all for the day. Thank you.